Thanks, everyone, for being with us here today. Due to the developments with our football program earlier today, our Director of Athletics, Chris Massaro, is here to provide clarity and answer any questions you may have. The way it'll work, he'll have an opening statement and then be available for your questions. For those that are on Zoom, please raise your hand, and we'll get to you as soon as we can. Chris?
Thanks, Mark, and thanks, everybody, for being here. It's a difficult day, really, for all of us, and it's one that I hoped would never happen, but, you know, I just feel like change is necessary, and I'll get into that in a minute, but do want to say, like, you'll never hear me talk poorly about Coach Stock, kind of his accomplishments, his influence on our student athletes, our ability to work together. He was great in those areas, and so that won't happen. I just, as we got into this and we start looking, you know, and drilling down, what I've always tried to do is evaluate on conference to conference, and I think that's the most important thing to do, is because that's those are your peers. That's what we're paid to do, and beat the people inside our conference. And really, that over the first decade or longer than that, Coach Stock had a really good record against the conference opponents. And then the last 5 years, we're below 500. We were 16-22 in conference. So this wasn't just this season. And I tried to emphasize that with the players a little bit when we met with them. That's just not this season. That there's an erosion in our football program. We need to do better than 16-22 over the last 5 years inside our conference. And so we need to do better in a lot of areas. We need to do better administratively. We need to do better to provide more resources and those kind of things. So we're not sitting right here again in the near future. So we look forward to a new staff, a new head coach. But that's the main reason I think that is the why, and that was it. And over that same time period, our overall was 26-32, and so it was really the last 5 years, and mostly the conference record. We do have contract obligations to coach, and we'll honor those. I think that his representatives will probably talk to ours a little bit and see, like, should it be paid out over time, or will it be better for both parties to agree on a lump settlement and those kind of things. So those kind of details will be worked out later, and just want to emphasize to the people out there that money for the buyout is being set aside. It was really with our conference realignment and the exit fees and the entrance fees and all the money that we collected due to realignment. We did put aside some of that for a rainy day fund, and so that'll be the fund that we're using to pay for the buyout. So there's not university dollars attached to the buyout, and so I think we're in good shape there. So I'll open it up for questions.
Can you talk about your meeting with him and how that went?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard. You know, he was a champ. He did a lot better than I did. You know, and so that was, he was good. I think he kind of had an inkling that it might be coming. You know, and so he was prepared, but obviously I think he still wants to coach, and he wanted to coach here and that kind of thing. So we've been together through a lot of ups and downs. So it was really amicable. He was a pro, as one would expect.
Most ADs have a lot of lists stuck in their desk somewhere. And as you get this process underway, what are the qualities and resume bullet points that you're going to be looking for?
Yeah, and I think that we don't want to lose what we had So obviously academics are really important and those kind of things. So we want to bring in a coach that feels like academics are important, but I don't have a preset offense, defense, head coach, assistant coach, any of those kind of things. But I do want a person that's got I think this department needs a little bit of over-the-top type personality. It's something that I don't possess, and I think it'd be great if our football coach possessed that, so we can go and I think one of the things is to kind of reconnect with our community and fan base and those kind of things. So I see this as an opportunity to build all those bridges.
You mentioned the record in the conference and overall the last 5 seasons, but Coach Stock still signed the new extension before last season. Was this a decision that had been brewing, or was this a decision that you had made more recently? Yeah,
that the extension was contract protected. It was in his contract. So if he won we won 8 games last year, so he got the automatic extension. So that you always kind of try to evaluate the football program, and I think what's happened here, and some of it's over time, that his windows of opportunity and chances got smaller as we went on, and in some ways you look at it, maybe we're competing against his own standards, and 8 wins wasn't good enough, or 7 wins wasn't good enough, and we need to do better. We need to be at 10 and 12 and those kind of things, but I think it got more difficult. Through the course of this year, we talked, and it shouldn't be this hard. And so I don't think it's been brewing for a while. You always prepare for success, and you always keep all these contingencies in the back of your mind. But we went into this season really thinking we could win the championship, and I think that was the mindset of the coaches. That was the mindset of me. We felt good about it, and it just didn't work out that way.
Okay, we've got a few questions on Zoom. We'll get started with Cecil.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Cecil. Hear you're not feeling well. Hope you feel better.
I was probably wondering today, if this happened, it may sound outlandish, but I heard it's a complete clean house. All coaching staff, training, weight room, equipment staff, it was everyone, not just Coach Stockstill. Can you confirm or deny any of that?
No, I mean, we have several people that are still under contract, and some of our assistant coaches and those kind of things. I met with all those people to tell them about what happened with Coach Stock. But typically, Cecil, in these kind of situations, that the new coach will decide kind of who his support staff is and those kind of things. So we have some really good people inside our football program. And I think there's elements of continuity that we want to keep. And so I've encouraged the coaches it's an emotional day for them, and what we need to do is put our collective efforts together to make sure that the players finish the semester strong academically. My message to the players is that to prepare yourself for change. There will be change, and they have a right to be able to get into the transfer portal. And so that would represent change on their behalf. If they stay here, there'll be a new coaching staff, a new way of doing things. And so they need to be as well prepared for change as possible. So that means going to class, completing the semester strong, so there's not negatives going forward as they approach this change. But, yeah, so know that all those people are still here.
All right, also on Zoom, Corey Curtis.
And we all know how difficult winning sustained at this level can be. Why do you feel your position, and what do you like about your program's position that you feel like you can achieve at a higher level in these coming years?
Yeah, I think that, number one, the population growth in our area gives us a great chance for success. We are we have the market cornered, so to speak. We have location, and that's one of the hardest things to develop. I mean, we're not an outpost by any stretch of the imagination, so it's a high growth area. we are behind on our facilities, and so we've got a student athlete performance center that we're laying the foundation for right now, and you'll see steel coming out of the ground in the next couple months, and that'll be a huge asset to us for the next 20 years. And so with our football program, I like our conference. We've got a team that's ranked inside our conference. They've got a chance to be in a New Year's Six bowl game. The newcomers have done well. Look at what New Mexico State has done and what Jacksonville State has done. So I like our conference. So we can be that team, and we need to shoot to be that team to be in the New Year's Six bowl games.
All right, up next on Zoom, Chris Harris.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
You mentioned kind of in your statement that you had conversations this year with Coach Stock, and I think the phrase that you used in the conversations where it shouldn't be this hard. I'm curious, what was it about it, do you think, that was so difficult to find success this year, and why are you confident that a new voice will be the one that can get results?
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of reasons for this year, and I think you could talk to a lot of different people and get different answers, and they're probably not wrong. I think one of the things that I witnessed, it seemed like we were playing uphill all year long, and that was really hard. We started off with 2 road games at SEC places, and that was difficult, so that's scheduling. And that's one of the reasons that I evaluate on conference play. So when we get inside our conference, it can be a little bit of a level field. And then we lost at Western Kentucky, and we're playing uphill inside our conference. And we have a lead against Jacksonville State at halftime, and we lose that game and at home, and so we're playing uphill inside our conference again. And so I think that was really, really difficult for us. And so, Corey, I'm trying to remember the rest of your question.
Why a new voice?
Oh, why a new voice will help that. I think that sometimes there's a chance to reconnect with our community, our fan base. Sometimes messages can be hard if they're year after year after year and that kind of thing. So I think a fresh approach is what we need. I think we need to take a fresh look at what we do, how we operate, and kind of do a whole up and down evaluation of our football program and where we need to put our resources. We don't have infinite resources, but we do have enough resources. Where the best can we allocate those resources to give the new person the best chance for success?
All right, we got a couple more questions on Zoom, and then we got a few more here in person that we'll get to. But on Zoom right now, Gentry Estes.
Yeah, hey Chris.
Hi, Gentry.
You mentioned, kind of pursuing an over-the-top type personality to reconnect with the community and the fan base. I'm curious if you feel like you've kind of lost those ties with the fan base because of a lack of success in any way the last few years, or is it just one of those things that's inevitable when a coach has been somewhere 18 years that people just kind of get tired of it?
I think there's some of that. There's the old saying, your friends come and go and your enemies accumulate. And that can be true in our field, and so that's there. I don't have that kind of personality either. So perhaps out of the two of the primary places that one would expect to see it in an athletic department, that it's not the athletic director or the football coach. So I just think our fans are yearning for that. They want to feel a connection, want to feel involvement with the program, want to be able to connect with and feel a part of it. And I don't know if we did a great job of doing that with our fan base. And so that's one of the things that I'd like us to improve upon in the next year is that connection. And sure, the football coach will be the point person, but we've got multiple people inside our athletic department that we need to do that as well. So I think it's going to be really important how we onboard the coach, how we connect them. Obviously they'll have recruiting responsibilities, and then once those are done and staff's hired, how we integrate our staff and the staff into the community too, because we'd have like 10 assistant coaches that can go out there and beat the drum for the messages as well.
All right, next, Cecil Joyce.
Hey, Chris, right now you're running ahead, you had recruiting time this season. What's the immediate plans for kind of keeping that contained? I know there's kids that had scheduled visits this weekend at MTSU. They're probably wondering what's going on. Well, what's the immediate plan for that?
Yeah, and I talked to our coaches today, and we did cancel the meetings, the recruiting visits this weekend. We need time to process here, and I didn't think it would be fair to the prospects to come in with everything so fresh. But that doesn't mean we're going to stop recruiting and those kind of things that, again, like this is a chance for some of our assistant coaches that want to stay here is to shine during this next month to 6 weeks, and to prove their value or to show their value and do a good job there. And we're looking for a coach that has that recruiting acumen. And also I think that in modern day athletics, we want somebody that's really good at the transfer portal and using it to our advantage, because everything's an opportunity or it's a deficit, and we need to make sure that we come out winners in the transfer portal every year. And so we want to staff and structure ourselves in such a way that we're able to capitalize on that going in the future.
Time can be fluid in these situations, but in an ideal world, when would you hope to have an announcement of who the next coach will be here?
In an ideal world, Sam, would be like right now. I have a lot of respect for Coach Stock, so I haven't talked to any candidates. I didn't think that was proper or respectful to what he's done. So right now we've got a search firm, Parker and Associates. We'll have a Zoom meeting with them tomorrow. I've got my list of candidates. We'll cross-check, see what's realistic, what's not. I know we're willing to pour more resources into the football program to make sure it's successful. When we make a change like this, it doesn't do much good unless we make changes in how we operate too. And that's going to be really important moving forward.
Couple quick things. Between now and then, you've got the portal opens next week. You've got signing date coming up. Who on the staff is kind of the point person right now?
Yeah, we haven't established that just yet. Everything was so fresh today. There was a lot of emotion, particularly with the assistant coaches, that felt like that wasn't a good time. But tomorrow I'll be able to talk to somebody and have a point person. Brent Brock was terrific today in terms of operationally and getting things done, and he's known Coach Stock since their Florida State days, and he was great, just helpful and those kind of things. And I think Rick will be great too. That they've built this program so they don't want it to see it be diminished in the next couple of weeks. So they'll be helpful, and we'll move forward and those kind of things.
Flipping it around, there's been 3 football coaches in 45 years here. How do you want this job to be perceived by potential candidates?
Yeah, I think it's a great job. I mentioned we've got facilities that are off the blueprint stage. They're in the construction activation stage. So we've got this facility, and it'll be the nicest building in Conference USA. We need to do a better job with our NIL. We need to do a better job modernizing ourselves in that regard. And so that's one of the things I'm really eager to work with the new coach on and to work with our community and fan base on. I think that there's a segment that might be more receptive to the NIL now that this change has happened, and so we might have more opportunities there. But that's going to be critical for us as we go forward is to establish a good NIL program here.
All right, back to Zoom. Corey Curtis.
Hey, Chris, just real quickly, when you're looking for a new head coach, is a 1A experience a priority, head coaching experience a priority? I know you're talking about handling the transfer portal. There's different avenues down there, but as far as is that level of experience, what are you looking for?
Yeah, and I'm really wide open. I get asked that question a lot, Corey, and when we hire coaches, regardless of sport, I don't have a preset notion like I only want head coaches and those kind of things. So I want somebody that can coach ball, and is a really good football coach. I want somebody that can connect with our fan base. I want somebody that connects with our players and takes care of them academically, whether that's coming out of a FBS program, FCS program, whether that's an assistant coach or head coach, or whether that's an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. It really doesn't matter to me. I just want somebody that has those abilities. And I think to be a head coach, you have to demonstrate the ability to get 150 people or so all rowing in the same general direction at the same time. And when you have that, then you have a chance for success. So that takes a lot of organizational ability. That takes a lot of motivational ability, and somebody that can teach and manage their staff. And I think that's going to be really important. So those are all qualities I look for. And beyond that, like the specific skill set, I'm not so much into that. If we hire a defensive-oriented person, then one of my questions in the interview process is, what do you plan to do on the other side of the ball? What can we expect? What will be run? And the same is true if we hire an offensive guy. What can we expect? What will our defense look like? What are your philosophies over there? And those kind of things. So particularly assistant coaches, those are all questions in interview process. And as you get to know the people, and you're able to gauge those kind of skills.
Chris Harris, your turn.
Thank you. Chris, that was going to be my question with a track record of what you're looking for, but I'll ask a different one. What does a move like you made today say to your fan base?
Yeah, I want them to say we're not satisfied. I think there's a thread out there that thought that maybe we like those, that we're okay with those results. And we want to win championships. We're building this building to set ourselves up for the future. We're going to do a really good evaluation of our football program and what we can do administratively better to help our coaches. This is a wake-up call, and the fans that were disenfranchised, I invite them, as soon as we hire the new coach, we want to have a season ticket plan out there and buy tickets, get behind this program, support the program. Murfreesboro is a great town. Rutherford County is growing like crazy. Middle Tennessee is growing. So if our alums and people can get excited about it, because that's the face of our athletic department. There's a lot of impressions that get drawn nationally on the health of your football program. And so I think it's important to us as a university. It's important that football does well. And we need to do that kind of hard look and see, and hopefully our fans will buy into what we've done and buy season tickets, come out and support us, because that's the best way to grow is a filled stadium.
Any further questions today for Chris?
Yes, sir. Oh, got to wait for the mic. Yeah.
All right, hi Chris.
Hi.
Dylan Sims with MTN Sports. And the question I've got for you today is, in light of the recent events, what is going to be the key to establishing the championship culture that you've talked about today, and how are you going to work on that progressing forward?
Yeah, I think the key is the new head coach. You know, I mean, the culture is really important. And I will say this about our coaching staff here is that we had a good culture inside that locker room now. And I don't want anybody to think anything different. These kids played hard to the last snap of the last game. There's not one game where I thought effort was a problem. And so that part of the culture is really good. So you want to retain some of that. You know, but the new coach will come in and set his own culture and those kind of things. And those are the standards that we want. That's what we're going to look for. This is a really good job, but it's not an easy job. And we want somebody to come in here with that toughness and roll up their sleeves and help us get some rings and win some championships and those kind of things. And so that willingness to take on a challenge. And when we do that, and we do that together, it'll become easier because the resources will follow. We need more corporate activity. We need more NIL activity. We need more fan activity on game days, all of those kind of things. So a lot of our revenues that relate to football we need to improve on, and that goes hand in hand with the culture that the new coach develops.
Anything else for Chris? Thanks everyone for being with us today.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
got
Corey
another one.
Curtis?
Sorry, Corey. Try to cut you off, man. Am I going to regret this, huh?
Most of us don't have to decide with friends what the future is.
Yeah.
And you talked about how difficult was it to put your emotions aside and make this work?
You know, I probably didn't do a good job of putting my emotions aside today when I talked to Rick. Well, I know I didn't. So that's really hard. You know, and that's one of the hard things about the business. So, yeah, that was difficult. But it's also kind of, in my view, necessary. And I think that, you know, I hope Coach Stock, I hope he goes and coaches somewhere and has a really good run. He's got another run in him. And so he was great. We hugged each other, you know, and so it was hard. Thanks for asking, Corey. It was hard.
Anything else? All right, guys.